Good afternoon, everyone. Been a full day today. I'm tickled with what I got done. This is a hibiscus. I took cuttings from over at my ex's a couple of years ago and rooted them. And this one has been here in the dirt now for, I guess this is the third year. And it came back really well. We had so mild a winter, it never did die all the way back. It's loaded with blooms, and it will keep blooming until the cold does kill it. Last year, the limbs that are up under the awning there kept flowering, and I believe it was after Christmas before they ever got killed all the way back. But anyway, it doesn't go to seed. And I had thought about there's a few branches that aren't loaded with the blooms like that like this. There's a couple of them that I had thought I may try to root them. But I don't know, it's here lately I don't have time to do a great deal. That was what I have felt like I have done for today, is pretty damn near completed the work on the greenhouse. For the time being anyway. I got 10 of the galanga cleaned up and weeded and moved inside the greenhouse, and 12 of the turmerics here, and those 3 there I'm going to take apart, and I will probably offer a little bit up to start the year off on some sales. Still got the hibiscus over there, and the pink ones here to get moved in. And me and the girls is walking. We're gonna go see if we can find a bunny rabbit. I bet he's out there, Diddy Dog. I bet he is, old bunny rabbit. Eating our flowers. I moved one pot of the lemongrass in the greenhouse, and I'm still gonna get one pot of the horseradish moved in. This was the old bulb turmeric here, and it did well. I took one pot apart already, and it was doing as well as the new bulb. And so I'll be working with some of it, and some of it I'm gonna get moved up up there under the end by the gas tanks of the little shed is the moringa. I'm not moving it into the greenhouse this year. I'm not as happy with this side as I was with the other side. They're saying we were going to have rain, but when I looked at the weather radar a while ago, it's to the south and west of me, so I don't really look to catch any. Could use it. Chloe, look. See? My little bullet girl. With the time change, we're having to get out now before the news comes on to do our walking and our business. We're only supposed to be down in the 60s tonight, and so I'm not going to worry about closing up until Thursday. And then they're talking about some lows this weekend and all, some of the coldest weather that we've had, and I believe it's next Tuesday or Wednesday they're saying we may actually see a freeze. I was hoping for the rain. I've used all the rainwater out of this tote, and I'm having to tote it for further away, which I did test some of it whenever I had the test equipment out yesterday, and it's not as right as I would like, and I've told people that before, that even rainwater a lot of times needs adjusting. I got the totes that I have, some of them were to go into the greenhouse and be filled with water and corrected, and then I would use that water for the plants. And they are recovering from all the bad water and everything else, but it's really a slow process. And just little wildflowers that are still pretty for the year. My pond, I haven't seen it this low since it was dug. And there's a few stumps sticking up in it, but right now that's about 2.5 foot below where it should be. And I'm just tickled that I ain't seeing none of my fish floating yet. The water still has enough oxygen in it. But every now and then before, I'd see just the tips of the stumps right there. And I had thought about taking and planting some of the little K trees down here along the edges back whenever we had the rains 3 months ago. But I'm glad I didn't, because I would have been having to come down here and probably water them every day or two, or they wouldn't have made it. Oh. Have all kind of, it was around almost 2 inches that we got the last week or so of rain, but like I say, it hasn't been enough to do much for the level in my pond. It has got some shrooms coming up good. And this is the best year I've had on the sumac. But I just don't care much for the flavor of it. I have harvested it for some folks a time or two, but say just for myself, I don't really care that much for it. China berry tree here. For the past several years, I've had a buck that has come up and cleaned the velvet off of his antlers on the China berry here. I don't know why he particularly likes it, but so far this year he hasn't come by, and those are what they call the China berries. And my understanding is that was part of where the tree come to the U.S. was they planted them for hogs to eat the China berries. I don't know if that's any truth to that or not, but that was the hearsay that I was given as a kid. My poor old camphor tree here has been struck by lightning several times, and I'm really surprised that it gets hit in place of the big pine trees there, but it has been hit. There's little ones all in here now. I had saved seed for some people asking. I think it has really, whenever they get so black and shiny, whenever they mature out, and it's the same thing that Campho-Phenique, and I don't know what all other medicines are made with camphor, but that's what it is. You boil the wood, and like a white foam will come up on the top of the water. You skim that off and dry it, and camphor is white. And I have taken the leaves and put them in an old steam pot that I have and put on the wood stove, and it will open up your sinuses, and to me it smells pretty good. Like I said, just got all kind of shrooms and puffballs and everything imaginable now. It's had so hard of a time with no moisture during the summer months that now it's decided it will grow out. And all this underbrush up here has died back because it just didn't have any water, it being so dry. And even the ferns have died back, and most of them, there's a few still around, but not a lot. Nowhere near as thick as it ought to look, because at this time of year, with not having had a frost and whatever, and just another little flower. This used to be the chicken yard. I had netting over it. It's over 100 foot long by better than 70 foot wide. And the chicken house was here. And that's what I'm using up there, the awning, this little shed that's in front of the greenhouse. This is where it came from. It was mounted onto the frame 4x8s down in here, and it was as a sled, and I could move it. I moved it all over the land, and originally had planned on the chickens being free roaming, and the hawks started trying to get at them, and the foxes, and they wouldn't stay on our land. They'd go over to my neighbor's over there and scratch up his catawba worm trees, and he wasn't happy about that. And So they ended up building, or I built a yard for them, and they weren't happy about that, but that was where they lived because they didn't have no damn manners, and they trespassed. So, well, I got a little bit of wood worked up this morning and filled up my wood rack in the house to where I'll be ready for the little bit of cold they're talking about. And that was why I kind of rushed through on the job of the greenhouse, was because I got to get this wood split and the wood that's up on my trailer, and I got to get a few more things in the greenhouse, but as much as anything, got to get the wood done to keep warm. And hopefully the girls has done their business and my news is on. I take a half hour and watch the NHK out of Japan, and a half hour on the DW out of Germany, and then an hour on the PBS NewsHour. And I try to stay informed on what is going on the world, and I think I get a fair representation without too much bias. I also listen to several newscasts during the day, and some of those are quite biased. There's one that is a town hall with a Christian slant to it that still swears Trump can't do no wrong. And to each their own, but I damn sure think he needs to be impeached, needs to be locked up. Well, we are back where we started, and I'm going to stop it there, and me and the girls will go in and chill for the evening. Blessings all.